talk about 2020. I'm going to start when I gave my life back to God this year. Um, I grew up in church my whole life, and I was always had a misunderstanding standing about it. Um, Not anybody's fault, I just come to a realization what it really truly means to have a relationship with Christ and how to live this life, not just in church, but 7 days a week and 24 hours a day. And before this year, before actually April, this year has taught me a lot. I gave my life back to God, and in March, at that time, I was in something I had to give up. To give up a lot of things, and you know, this this pandemic, everything opened my eyes. So I just gave my life out here. I heard him calling me back home, and I couldn't ignore it. So I decided to go back to him. I'm not saying that this has been an easy road because it has not, but I learned a lot from this year and from my life before turning back to God. I learned how to let people go, relationships and friendships. Wasn't in his plan, that was toxic for me. So I had to cut off people that I knew for a while. And did it hurt? Yes. But God healed me as I went on, and I learned how to depend on him no matter what. I learned how him to be my friend. I learned how him to be my comforter. I had him to be everything that I need. Not saying it's never been easy, but you know, you have to go through something to come out pure gold. You have to be refined by Christ. And to this year, I had become a mom, a single mom, and I just have to be honest. It's been blessed that God has taken care of her. And I do have to testify that God has taken care of her since I gave birth. And before that, I couldn't work because I had my cervix. So I've been off work since 2019, July. And God has taken care of her, has taken care of everything um, since then. And I'm so grateful for that. And I give him praise for that. This year I'm doing this video to review everything that's been going on in my life and how God has worked through them, and how even though you go through, you still have somebody to call on. That's Jesus Christ, to be there with you, and he'll never leave you or forsake you. Don't run from him. Just keep going. Just keep going no matter how hard it is. Keep going how much it hurts. I had cried a lot of tears this year, and you know, but God has the only one that knew some things that was going on with me. Um, I suffer from anxiety, and to be honest, I didn't really have anxiety problems till this year, and I was wondering where this was coming from, and everything, like when I overdo anything, or when you know I suffer from anxiety, and that he has been there and told me not to worry, not to think about tomorrow, not to worry about the future. Let him have it. Take day by day. Learn of him. Let him comfort me. So if anybody else is struggling with anxiety, so if there's anybody else that suffers from anxiety, I'm here for you. And You don't have to suffer. He said, look, he tells us to be anxious for nothing. And sometimes we feel it that we think too much. And I know how that is. And I had to be transparent and honest. That's something I struggle with. Especially women. We worry way too much when we're supposed to trust God and just keep going. Just keep going what he told us to do. No matter what it looks like, how it feels. Can't stop, But I just feel like there's a lot of people don't come out and say this because they don't feel like nobody can relate to them. Because people, that hasn't been through anything like this doesn't understand how to relate to you, how to in your situation. Because I'm here. I understand how it feels, and I was wondering where is this coming from. I never experienced this before. There's sometimes my body can't move, but I know that God is my healer. I know that I press through it and I keep going because the race is not given to the swift nor to the strong, but the one that endured to the end. So it doesn't matter what's going on in your body. God is your healer. God is your way maker. Press through it and trust his voice. No matter what you're going through, God is there telling you to push beyond what you feel. It's not how you feel. It's not how. It's your faith. It's your faith that you keep going. Through me, you keep going. Don't worry how you feel. I just want to be transparent because somebody might need this. There was times I felt like I couldn't move. I didn't know what was going on. But God is the one that kept me all this time. There's days I don't feel like this. Some days I do feel like this. Some days I feel, and something in my body is this. I don't know what it is, but I know I'm just telling somebody so I can help somebody else that goes through it. Don't overthink. Just take that time, that day to rest in God and be still and be in his presence. Sometimes this world wants you to work and hustle. But no, sometimes God wants you to rest. I don't really think we should be using the word hustle. We need to realize that sometimes God just wants us to sit down and be still, to hear his voice, to rest our spirit, mind, and body. And also this year, I had to learn to forgive and not be bitter. Not hold on to things, not get back at somebody, not do all the things I used to do. No matter how bad they have offended me in the past, no matter how bad they hurt me, I had to heal from all that. I had to let go and let God handle the situation. No matter what the situation is. That's one of my lessons in 2020. I had to let go and let God, even when it comes to my daughter, the situation, my daughter, everything else. I had to let go and let God. And so this has been my wilderness season. And I had to go through a lot of learning. But I'm glad I had my relationship with Christ. And I'm going to press through this. I'm going to press to the mark of the high calling, which is in Christ Jesus. Because he never said that we wouldn't suffer in any kind of way. But there's a difference between suffering without Christ and suffering with Christ by your side, comforting you as you go, giving you direction. And I'm glad I have him in my life. So I put all my worries and trust in him. This has been a scary year for those that don't know Christ. And I encourage everyone that doesn't have Christ to come to him before it's too late. We never know when he's coming back, but we know it's soon. We don't know the day or the hour. But I just encourage you today. Give him a chance. Give it a chance. Give it your all. Press through the pain. You just need to be obedient. No matter how we feel. It's not about feelings. Feelings are temporary. They change. Emotions change. I just was glad to come on here and just talk about this year, 2020, for the new year. And I want to look back over this. But I just learned a lot this year, and I just want to be obedient and know that God has been with me every step of the way. You know, everybody goes through something. Everybody. There's people that smile all day long, but they go through things. And we have to be transparent and say that we need Jesus every step of the way. You know, we can still smile and still, you know, press through it and know that God is with us. And it's gonna be okay in the end when you have Christ, because you'll be with him for eternity. But first we have to let our flesh be dead and let it stay dead. We can have joy, you know, no matter our circumstances. Circumstances has nothing to do with joy. We can have joy in our wilderness. We can have joy in uncertainty. We can have joy in every situation. We have to choose to stand on those promises. The joy of the Lord is my strength. God is my refuge and a present help. So we have to rely on those words and those promises of God. And I encourage you to look back over your 2020 or even years before you gave your life to Christ and all the lessons that he taught you. I encourage you to do a review on this year. But good news, I start school next month, and I love doing what I'm called to do. It's not always easy, but I know God has called me to do it. So even this channel, so I take joy in it. I take joy in it, and I just thank God for delivering me from all kinds of things. On this channel, I talk about it a lot. Pornography, man, I would waste so many days on it because I was so depressed. I would seek love in all the wrong places. You know, I would go to psychics just to see the future, and you know, that caused consequences. And you know, we shouldn't do that. You know, yeah, I would sit there and get on psychic things and ask questions about different things in my life. And you know, we shouldn't do that. So God has delivered me from a lot of things over this year, and I had to do some inner healing. I had to do a lot of things, and I learned to forgive myself from wasting so many years in church and never grow, because you know, I still wanted to do what I wanted to do back then, you know. So I just thank God that I'm finally waking up to it. No, it hasn't been easy, but you know, the best relationship you can have is with Christ. And before this year, I always thought I had to have a man to complete me. But I would go from relationship to relationship, um, just to feel validated, just to feel like I had to have somebody. And in these wrong choices, I'm just gonna say that because I want to be respectful. The wrong choices, the wrong. I try to find myself, my worth in a man, then God, and it's in God and through Him. And I'm so glad I finally just know how to let go and just wait on God for what He has and prepare for what God has for me. So I encourage you to, if you're in a relationship where it's not godly and it's not healthy, learn to let go. I'm not saying God has a man for you. I don't know. I'm not saying a husband for you, a kingdom spouse for you. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying this, that you let go of something that God tell you no to do. It's gonna be more relief in your life. It's gonna be more freedom in your life to not be in a situation where God didn't put you. We put ourselves in that, and it's the wrong thing. Trust me. You know, we shouldn't idolize somebody else. A lot of time in my past relationships, that's what I always did. And God has stripped me from all of that. And I realized that, God is number one in my life. There's nothing wrong with waiting on what God has for you, especially when He promised you that certain thing. He promised you a kingdom spouse. He promised you this. I'll wait and I'll prepare and I'll be obedient. I'll do everything I can as a servant, as a daughter and servant of Jesus Christ, and help and serve others. And then when you do get married, we don't get in marriages for to be completed. That's the only thing that God can do. Only God can complete us if we let Him. And also, do not get married just because you want to have sex. It's the wrong thing. It's a commitment in marriage. I've never been married, but it's been a commitment. God has showed me this. In the past, I wanted to get married because I wanted to do what I wanted to do. And God has flipped that perspective in my mind. I'm being transparent because I don't want to lie. I'm just going to say what I used to think. But God has changed my mindset. I used to think getting married just to have sex, just to do those type of things. This world got it all not in your mind. We get married to glorify God and live the way He wants us to live as married couples. And I'm so glad that He just told me the truth about that, because I would have got myself in situations where, it wouldn't have been worse than it already was. But, I had to let go, and it ain't nothing wrong being celibate and purity, and nothing wrong with keeping yourself for God. And a lot of times this world gets the wrong perspective. But today I just want to come on here and just tell you all the things that I've learned this year. There's more, but that would take hours. But I just encourage you to look back over your year. And I just thank God for Him being here. I just thank God for Him to be here for me and change. I just thank God for changing my perspective. Changing the way I I'm sorry. And I just know the truth now. I know the truth about myself. I know who I am in Christ. I don't know everything, but I know what I already know that. And I press towards that. I press toward the mark of the high calling of Christ.